Good. Jeff Market for Nashville. Hope you're having a great day. Tonight again, our health shop, we're talking about back to school this month. And tonight's theme is learning disabilities. And just a reminder, we've been in business now for 42 years as a practice, working with nutrition and chiropractic the whole time. So a lot of experience dealing with all kind of fun things, especially you help a lot of kids in here, a lot of families really enjoy that because the kids are always fun. So a lot of experience with that over the years. And so tonight we're going to give you some general ideas as to what causes learning disabilities. And then, of course, we work with those kind of things all the time here to rid the body of those issues. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Of course, I'm Dr. Mark, the old guy here. So again, been here for 42 years. I don't know where all the times went, but it's gone. Toxins in your body. So the problem with learning disabilities is the nervous system has what we call barriers as to why the nervous system doesn't work and the body can't work and learn correctly and those kind of things. Also, even controlling energy. The kids a lot of times that are having issues with ADD, ADHD, those kind of things, have barriers in the nervous system that don't allow the nervous system to control the body correctly. So that's what we're talking about, toxins here. There's reasons for those, and we're going to go through what they are, or some of them anyway. So at Natural Health, we see, or are very concerned with toxins that have invaded and that remain in your body. And many of these toxins are poisons that the body can't handle and store in fat cells and other places. So the liver is responsible for getting rid of toxins and things that we get in our environment, even breathing things, stuff like that. And if the body can't handle it, it just puts it into a fat cell and just stores it there. Because the fat is a good way, bioenergetically, to just store these kind of things that don't damage, cause the free radical damage that people have problems with. So as all these fat cells add up, they can put mechanical pressure in organs and glands that keep them from working correctly. So that's just if it goes for a long time. But even the energy of these toxins can cause lots of problems. That's why you hear people having a fatty liver. These toxins can also have a negative energy effect, being detrimental to the effectiveness of the individual organ function and a drain on the body systems as a whole. This could lead to a weakened immune system and many other systems. If it's in the immune system, lymphatics, bone marrow, spleen, those kind of areas that have to do more with the immune system, trouble there. And if it has to do with more brain issues, the trouble with learning, control of energy, control of muscles and things like that. So all this is going to be involved. We talk about immune system because people then have a lot of colds and different things like that. But it affects the whole body, cardiovascular system, the whole thing. So we work a lot towards getting rid of the toxins. There's ways we can do that at Natural Health, even work with chiropractic work, get the nervous system there, get some of the various steps so the body can detoxify itself, and nutritionally, and then dietary guidance to help people stay away from the underlying reason or the way they're getting all these toxins. So just to being aware of that, because you don't hear any of this stuff from mainstream medicine. They get their own thing, and that's fine. They're busy, so you have to go to a alternative healthcare group like us to get information about toxins and getting the body detoxed naturally that way. So, 4 dangerous toxins to the brain. Fluoride is a big one because that's in the water. The powers that be have been kind of brainwashed into believing that fluoride is good for the body. Well, it may help the teeth a little bit, but then why do you swallow the water and it goes everywhere else? So the problem with that, of course, is it becomes a toxin. It's a neurotoxin, actually, that could definitely affect the brain and nervous system. There's definitely been several studies that I've seen proving that fluoride lowers the IQ by at least 5%. Depending on the person and all that kind of stuff. Heavy metals is a big one for us, especially mercury. We find that in about everybody that comes into the office that has problems because, again, mercury is a neurotoxin, and so the nervous system can't work, another barrier as to why the body can't get well. And the medical people, they can force things out with different chemicals they have, We like to help the body to get well, get the natural systems to work so they can continue to do the job and do a much deeper cleanse of the body, getting the nerve system to work correctly, getting the immune system, all these things to work correctly, and eventually getting that fatty liver or fatty whatever cleaned out. So a lot of times people that are even worried about weight, just giving them the detox will help get rid of the weight, where they can't get rid of it before because their liver just can't get rid of the toxins in there. Artificial sweeteners are always a problem. Those things, of course, taste sweet, but they're something that's never meant to be in the body. They're chemicals, never meant to be in the body. Monosodium glutamate is a lot of food, especially processed food. So we try to keep people away from processed food in general. Just try to stay with natural whole foods. That's a good rule, and you never get in trouble with that kind of stuff. So healthy children, as the child's immune system is developing, he or she may develop fevers, and these are normally a good thing as it helps the body produce the things it needs to fight the infection and produce immunity. And other things that go on with fevers, the chemistry works faster, lymphatic drainage happens, all kind of things with fever are good. And of course, the mainstream medicine tells moms to put everybody on Tylenol. Well, Tylenol itself is a toxin problem because it has its own side effects and its own disease problems that come with it. So the fevers are good, again, within moderation. We look at 104 being kind of the limit, but most fevers are around 99 to 102, somewhere in there. And even getting a good adjustment too, we found, especially with the cervical spine, helps the body to then go ahead and reset, and then the body can reduce that fever in there. Vaccinations can be good things for certain conditions that can cause troubles in some children due to the fact that some of the additives and adjuvants that are in them, again, are toxins. Aluminum's a big problem there. Mercury was in a lot. They kind of changed some of that, but there's still some of the vaccinations have mercury in them, and then aluminum, they had to move aluminum. Now, again, to realize the adjuvants are there to force the body to try to develop a response. And again, it's never wise to make the body do something or try to force the body to do something. You always have to rob Peter to pay Paul to do that. And then the aluminum definitely causes a problem with brain function. So a lot of problems with this, and everybody's different. Again, some kids are much more susceptible to problems because they have more toxins already. And some kids get by with it, don't seem to have any problems with it. Growing pains are just the child's body is requiring more nutrition for whatever purpose it is going through. So a lot of times, kids go through growth spurts. We had 4 sons, so a lot of times they would grow up, and then they would stop, then they would eat a lot, and they'd grow out, and then they would eat more, then they'd grow up, and it seems like they just go through spurts like that. And of course, your body needs special nutrition, especially calcium and things, as the bones are growing, where a lot of the pains come from if they're calcium deficient. And another problem, we've been brainwashed into thinking that drinking all this milk, pasteurized milk, is good for a calcium source. Well, it's not. Because once you heat things like that, it changes the calcium to a point the body has a very hard time getting any nutrition, getting any calcium out of the milk. And most of the milk just produces a lot of mucus, so the body doesn't like it. That's why it produces mucus. So a lot of problems with the dietary advice given out there. Yes, you could take pasteurized milk to a lab. It has lots of calcium in it, but just because it has it in it doesn't mean if you put it in your mouth doesn't mean it's going to be used correctly and go where it's supposed to go. There's a lot more to nutrition and diet than just whatever you stick in your mouth. Try to stay away from refined sugar and processed flour, as these only give the child energy but with no minerals to control the body's use. So we'd like to, or a good simile of that is, it looks like when you burn paper, paper just goes, just burns real quickly. But if you burn wood, especially oak wood, it burns very slowly, a long-term thing. Where these refined sugars are like the paper. The body can absorb them, but it was never meant to have refined sugar. Refined sugar is more of a drug, works more like a drug than anything else, than a food. So it's very, very addictive, and if you eat refined sugars long enough, it robs the body of a lot of minerals, especially B vitamin minerals, that are used to help calm the body. So that's why I really have a problem with some of these school breakfasts that are just French toast sticks and some fruit and that kind of stuff. Just all sugar and stuff like that. So, and then of course, use antibiotics, while necessary for certain conditions, can destroy the bowel flora, which is so important for brain development. There's a big gut-brain connection. You may have heard of that, but even the researchers are seeing more and more connection with that. So people that have a lot of problems with brain function usually have a messed up gut, and of course, as soon as the child develops their first or starts cutting their first tooth, well, then they get an ear infection. Well, of course, you're right on antibiotics right away, and you just keep on antibiotics, and of course, then the gut basically gets destroyed over time. We see a lot of people with leaky gut in here, a lot of people with bowel flora that's not working, overgrowth of yeast, things like that, and bacteria. So there's things you can do to help with that, and especially the kids can sometimes be much more sensitive even than adults in that reason there. So that's some pretty good information there, I think. So I'm going to turn over to Dr. Chip and let him tell you more good news about things and how to help with learning disabilities. Don't forget that we do have on our website, if you want to sign up for the weekly blog, we send a weekly blog or like just a writing out to explain more about what we do here. We also have free consultations that you can come in and see what we're doing, because our office is different. We do a lot of things that are different than people are used to, but we know how to make it work now. We've done it long enough that all of our programs work as long as the patient is compliant. So we have a good track record there. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Chip, and have a great rest of the evening. We'll see you next week. Thanks.
All right. Good night, everybody, or good evening. So again, we're going to, continue the conversation with back to school. Got to get out of the frame here a little bit. This is learning disabilities. So I'm going to go through the slides here. I like to keep it short and sweet, but again, we're just providing this information out there for people that, again, maybe got lost in the different information. I mean, there's plenty of out there. So we want to make sure that we're a good source for helping you guys out. So let's go through here. So again, it says what leads to issues. First, again, trauma, toxins, and thoughts. So we kind of call them the 3 T's there. So when, again, our bodies are getting overloaded with different things, this was what could happen. So this is kind of more of how the body is stressed. Now, you could say is that when we have an overload of, say, one or more of these, then again, our body is not able to regulate and heal itself, and it starts to get unbalanced far enough to where we start noticing pain or symptoms or signs. And so again, it's just making sure that we're able to help kind of, you'd say, lessen these, or be able to take these, mitigate them or make them better there. And so that will help build the body back up and restore it back to health. Now again, we can support the body there too, to where we get it much more adapted to where then it can handle more of this kind of stuff here too. So let's go through here. Now again, the brain and body, we kind of talk about trauma. Again, brain is overwhelmed, stress, irritation on the spinal cord. So how we kind of talk about trauma is that if we have like physical injuries, like a fall or some kind of sports-related injury, all that too, again, that is an impact that actually it took, or it kind of, you would say it was too much for the body to handle, and now we have an injury. And so again, we want to make sure that we're not, not in those situations. But at the same time, when those things happen, we want to make sure to, again, get the body back in good alignment, adjusted well, but, back to its healthy self. Now, chiropractically, we like to think more about how everything is aligned. We want to have good alignment for the body so it's able to, again, self-heal and self-regulate. So we kind of think more of that. If there's stress or irritation on the spinal cord, again, that's where kind of the nerve force, or the life force that goes from the brain to all the rest of the body, that communication there, if that is being kind of stressed or irritated, then it's not getting proper signals. So we want to make sure that's doing well, get that lined up, and then make sure everything is communicating properly. Now we kind of talk about the brain being overwhelmed too. So for instance, if somebody has like a concussion, they don't want to keep having to do things because that's going to have too much stress on the body to handle. We want to make sure to get that healed up well, get that nervous system reset, get the brain functioning well, and then they can go back to playing well. And so again, it's always good to make sure that we're handling these things there too, because the kids can have a lot of stuff going on, some falls here and there. We just want to get them back in a good alignment, get them adjusted well, and get them on their way. Again, that's the brain there, nervous system. Awesome. So then toxins, we kind of talk about, Dr. Mark talked about the gut brain there. Foods we eat can have an effect on our brain. And so again, we kind of mentioned there too is that our brain has, you would say, cells or neurons or things that would kind of be more reflective to the brain there. So we talk about the brain have a lot of neurons, but again, we can find those cells throughout our body there too, in these different plexuses or these different, you would say, areas on the center of the spine there too. So again, the brain has, you would say, neurons there too. Our gut has some neurons and cells there too. And those are important because they have an impact or effect on the rest of the system there too. So we want to make sure that we're supporting our bodies well, we're feeding our bodies well with good, healthy food, nutrition, staying hydrated, so that we're able to maintain and support a good, healthy brain and body and system there too. And then again too, so thoughts and emotions, talk about safety, sensitivity, security, the nervous system. And so again, nervous system is kind of more of that being able to regulate itself and be able to feel more safe and connected. And so when our bodies are off, we get some kind of dysregulation, our nervous system is not able to process things appropriately, then we might be stuck in a kind of a mode. We kind of typically think about more of two modes of the nervous system, kind of more of your fight or flight or freeze. The other one is more of your rest and digest. But really is that if the nervous system is stuck and it's not able to go back and forth, that's the problem. It's not able to adapt. And so again, when say like kids or adults, when the nervous system gets off, we're not able to learn appropriately. We're not able to gain more information because the brain is the nervous system is actually in a threatened state. And so if you think about it logically, if we're in a threat environment, we don't want to learn anything. It could be stuff that we learn like in books, all that too. It's more of there's a threat outside our environment, so there's an immediate danger that we want to protect ourselves. We want to make sure that we're not being eaten by the bear or the tiger in the woods or anything like that. So that's kind of more of when our bodies are more at ease, our nervous system is able to regulate itself, then we can process information better. And so again, like it's learning different things in school, books, different courses, all that too. Then we're able to learn that and process that better, and able to have that ability to, you'd say, learn or memorize things, or just have that critical thinking process. And so that's again very important for these kids as they're growing, because the brain actually, the growth development from, I think it's around 2 to 7 or 2 to 10, just kind of in that area, it grows so much in that period. And that's why we want to make sure that their nervous system is doing well, because that is a very good time for learning all they're going to know, even throughout the older years there too. And so again, we talk about that too, but thoughts and emotions there is that if that nervous system is off, then we can kind of have these different negative attitudes or thoughts or emotions there too, such as it could be fear or anger or worry or different things. Trying to think of one more. Or anxiety or depression, all that too, just because something is off. Now, of course, too, we want to have that good environment, that atmosphere that we feel more connected, we're able to express ourselves, and then we're able to create things there too. A lot of times we're able to help kids or ourselves create things. That creativity, it helps to work different parts of our brain, and that helps to regulate our nervous system. So we want to make sure those are all working in proper order. So again, like you said there too, is that we all have these different modes of our brain that we're able to learn things. So logically, we want to make sure that we're able to, do simple processes like science and math and that. But we want to also be able to do the kind of more the art side of creative ideas. That's kind of like, business-related ideas, all that too. Because even though we think that this helps so much in the business world and all that, we want to plan well, keep our record straight. This helps to actually expand and grow different things there too. So as in our early years there too, when our brains are developing, we want to help our brains develop as a whole, so that if the kids are kind of slow in their progression, actually creating a whole aspect there too is able to help them learn in different ways, so they can actually get a grasp of how to interact with the world there too. So helpful tips, time slots for technology. Typically, or definitely at the early hours of the day and the late hours of the day, we want to make sure that our technology is off. We want to make sure that we're decreasing that screen time, just because that's important for our circadian rhythm or our sleep. Just kind of our energy levels out throughout the day there too. Walk outside in natural elements. Again, good fresh air, sunshine. All these things are been reported to have good, healthy benefits for ourselves. And then encourage them to express. So again, a lot of times, as kids, of course, they going through it a lot, learning in different things, meeting new kids, new friends, new people, all that. And so again, it's just good for them to express, what's going on throughout their day, kind of seeing what they're all about too. So, yeah. Okay, so like we said, short and sweet. Again, just encouraging tips to help you and your loved ones and your kids to actually flourish in school, and to help them get to that point where they're able to learn better and better too. So again, you can always follow us at Natural Health Quincy IL at Facebook, YouTube, Variety on and Instagram. You can subscribe to our email list at naturalhealthquincy.com, and we're located at 2000 Jefferson Street in Quincy, Illinois. The number is 217-228-2040. So again, thank you so much for watching this live workshop here, or health shop. You want to make sure to keep spreading good information, valuable information, and to help you out there as we get back to school. So again, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of the week.